I'm going to ask you this question first. Is the ACC stronger now than ever?
I mean, I guess I hate to make it sound like it's a cop-out answer. Like, it really just depends on who you ask. Somebody pro ACC is going to be like, yeah.
I would say no.
Better.
Yeah, I would say
personally, for me, no. You're telling me the best that the ACC has been is like the top teams all looking to go elsewhere?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with that whatsoever. I mean, it really depends on which fan base you ask, even down to that point. But it's clear that Notre Dame's not going to join for football. It's clear that, the ACC, with all the lawsuits and whatever with Florida State and Clemson, like, they tried to reach this resolution. And this is kind of what they'd agreed to, right? Like this new media rights deal that's supposed to benefit those that are bringing in the most money for the school, and vice versa. Take some of the money away from the schools that don't bring in much money. But even then, you talked about it. I go back to your episode that you had as like, it's not hard to see what's happening with the ACC. 2025, 26, they're golden. They're fine. We don't know what next year holds. Things are changing very, very quickly, much quicker than what we're used to seeing. So I would be shocked if the ACC, as we see it right now, is the same by 2030. I would be absolutely shocked.
This was supposed to be where we're nice to the ACC and talk about them staying together. but if you're right, though, some of this is objective. If you're a stockholder, okay, and your stockholder is in Freddy's Burgers, you ever been to Freddy's? They did the smash.
I have. It's actually not bad.
And then Freddy's Burgers decides we're never making a burger again. Like, no. I'm a stockholder in this. The thing you do is burgers. Like, well, we have dessert too. That's what the ACC is. Is the ACC at its very top, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Miami. That's your burger. That's what you do best. Those are your brands. And the second you just stop doing those things, if I'm a stakeholder, objectively, the dessert is good. I like the Oreo ice cream that has the gummy worms in it. But it's not what is selling your business. And that's where I think the ACC is falling apart. And that's where I think that Louisville would benefit from being like, hey, we're going to spearhead this with the rest of these guys and get out of Dodge. Is there a world, though, wherein in 5 years, Dalton Pence and Drake Toll do a crossover? Louisville's happy because the ACC is actually strong. Like, what happens if that is the case?
I think either two things happen or one thing happens. And the one thing is Notre Dame actually joins for football, which I think that's the least likely of the two.
Yeah.
Number two, and this is a two-parter. Number one, Clemson and Florida State have viewed the new TV revenue deal as advantageous. They're willing to play it out because they are reaping the benefits the most out of any other school. And number two, the ACC tries to expand. Now, that's where it gets tricky. Like, who do you go after then? Do you sort of take the sloppy seconds and take a team like Memphis? If Memphis is throwing you that same amount of money? Does a school like Tulane pique your interest? It's kind of slim pickings at the moment, unless you're just going to poach a team from the Big 12, and you're not going to poach anyone from the Big 10 or the SEC. Like, it's going to have to be those group of 5 teams that you believe in the upward trajectory. So it depends. It's either Notre Dame or satisfaction with the current members with the idea of expanding. Which is the chance is not zero. Like, it's not possible. Like, there's a possibility. I mean, maybe it's larger than even I'm alluding to.
Sure.
Maybe I'm just a doomsdayer. Maybe Drake Toll and Dalton Pence are doomsdayers and they're Big 12 truthers. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't give a damn. I'm calling it how I see it, and so are you. So
right,
we'll see.
Again, this isn't supposed to be like a dour thing, and the ACC doesn't sign my paychecks or your paychecks. The Big 12 doesn't give us any money either. This is more so the lifeblood of holding together universities and intercollegiate athletics as it sits, or at least. So here's where I'm supposed to be nice to the ACC here, but I can't find a way because the stockholder thing. I'm not.
How do you, Drake? What's the best thing you could say about the ACC right now moving forward? Like, How do you spin this in a positive way?
They have Clemson and Florida State, but then
they're looking to leave,
and they sue them. Again,
I love you so much that I'm going to sue you, Drake.
Correct.
Basically what they're saying, like, okay, sure.
I look at Freddy's and I say, the nicest thing I can say to you is I love your burger. And then Freddy's looks at me and says, oh, well, we're not going to have that on the menu anymore. That's not a real item. So right. that's where I struggle to say something nice to the ACC. But let me pose this to you. I think we can get to an era of college football where if the Big 12 has 20 or 22 teams, we kind of go back to zero, where in the SEC, you have classic matchups like Auburn, Alabama, or Alabama, LSU, or even Texas, Arkansas. We're going back to some of our roots, Arkansas, Oklahoma, with old school college football.
Right.
Well, think about in a new look Big 12 with Louisville, Virginia Tech, you're going to have West Virginia, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Louisville. You're going to have West Virginia, Cincinnati, Louisville, Cincinnati. You're going to have some of the old school things we love about college football. Maybe consolidation kind of gets us back where we've wanted to go. And that's to 30 years ago where we get some of these great matchups. I don't think this is the end of the world if the ACC is not a thing in 2032.
I don't either. I think it's going to look different. I think that unfortunately, it depends on like how large is the domino effect. Like, okay, if let's say Clemson and Florida State spearhead this and North Carolina decides to join and the ACC replaces them with Memphis, Tulane, and whoever, Oregon State, or something random. Mm-hmm. Like, it just depends. It's like, is Virginia Tech, Miami, Louisville, these other like next tier schools in the ACC, like, are they okay with how the conference is viewed? Because it's already perceived kind of badly now by the College Football Playoff Committee. What does that look like in 2030 when you lose your heavy hitters? So
doesn't look good.
I come back to the point of you better hope that Clemson and Florida State love this new TV deal. That's what it's going to come down to, I think. I think Louisville stands pat until something happens. Like, I don't think Louisville's going to be one of those first schools that's like, guys, I got to get ahead of this. It's going to be, okay, if we see the rubber meeting the road, that's when we're going to be proactive.
Yeah, that's where I see North Carolina being the fun domino of, wait a second, we thought Clemson and Florida State were the two who were really going to drive this home. Now, all of a sudden, if somebody else is trying to do the same and get out of the league, not named Clemson and Florida State, it just means that we're going to push closer and closer toward the death of the ACC. And maybe that's advantageous for the Big 12 and for Louisville and for all of college football in the end. Dalton Pence, what can folks expect as this week is ending? Next week, weeks after, we're getting close to college football season. What do they get out of Locked On Louisville?
You're going to get, like you would the rest of the Locked On Podcast Network, an extensive look into all of the things that there are to talk about. Fall camp previews. Yeah. Fall camp has just started for Louisville, just like it has for some other schools. What are the position battles to watch for? Who are the guys you need to know? What about the schedule? What is that going to look like for Louisville once they get past the 3 non-conference games, and much more, all on Locked On Louisville.
Love it. That's Dalton Pence, Locked On Louisville. Drake Toll here with Locked On Big 12. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. This has been, it always will be. It's crossover, the Locked On Podcast Network between Locked On Louisville and Locked On. Thanks again for making us your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.